It's Wednesday, and things have changed a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and have a good time. We're going to spend an hour chatting. We're going to talk a little bit of aftermath, a little after-action report, so to speak. But things are changing. In case you didn't notice, we're doing things different tonight. So we've decided to launch a new thing. We're going to get rid of we're going to get rid of Tuesday nights. Tuesday nights are now a thing of the past. We're not even going to play with Tuesday nights. We are simply going to go ahead and move forward. And that means that we're going to do something different. So tonight is going to be a new show. And basically, we're going to get rid of Tuesdays and we're going to move forward and we're going to do This Is the Way Wednesdays. So I know this was a last minute thing, but we're going to do it anyway. So we're going to chat here for a little bit before the Matt Cave goes on, because Matt Cave is going on in about an hour. So I figured we'd get in, we'd chat, and we'd go through some after action. We're going to go through and we're going to break down the episode. We're going to talk a little bit about all things that happen on Wednesdays. And we're going to bring it down a little bit. It's the middle of the week. Everybody's having a crazy week. It was a crazy episode. So we're going to go ahead and take a moment and we're going to pull it up. We're going to break it down. A lot happened. And so come on in, hang out. We're going to be here for about an hour. I invited some people in. We'll see if anybody wants to come hang. But for starters, it's just me. And I'm going to give you my breakdown on how awesome this last episode was. Because to me, both The Mandalorian and The Bad Batch had amazing content to both episodes. So first, we're going to talk a little bit of Mandalorian because that's the hot item. Let's see what Anthony says. It was full of good news. Yeah, I mean, there was so much craziness that went on this week, right? In our Mando episode, from a kidnapping to some new pet dragons, basically, to finally seeing who rescues Grogu or how he escapes the Jedi Temple during Order 66. There's so much wrapped up in this episode that I had to take a while to process it. I didn't want to jump on stream and just start jibber jabbering about it. I had to really process what I saw today, what I saw this morning, because I watched this morning. And I got to say, this episode was pretty fiery. It was pretty awesome. I just can't say how awesome this episode was. So welcome everybody. This was impromptu. I was talking to the guys today about days of the week, and I like doing Mando Mondays. I think it's fun. I think it's a good place for us to gather our thoughts as the week progresses, getting ready for the Tuesday night release. And then I was talking to a couple of the other guys, and we're going to start, spreading out a little bit so that everybody's got some time slots. So I know that Hawks is going to start doing Tuesdays, and tonight is, oh, look, there he is. See, he's probably getting ready and getting dressed for his newscast. Tonight is the Matt Cave Way Back Wednesday. So today, Matt Cave is doing his Resident Evil stream. So in about an hour at 5:45, make sure to hop on over there. We're going to be closing up right about then and sending all of the few viewers that we have for today. We're going to send them over to the Matt Cave to check out Resident Evil stream. So he's going to have a good time tonight. We're going to have a good time tonight. But yeah, everybody, see, and he's got some merch. I have some of his merch. If you don't drink everything out of the Matt Cave cup. Why is it backwards? Gosh. Hold on. We gotta switch that. It's got to be right. Enable mirroring. Okay. There we go. If you're not drinking everything out of the Matt Cave cup, you're doing yourself a disservice. I'm just saying, everything tastes better coming out of this cup. I'm just saying, you pour in water and it tastes like wine. No, I'm just joking, but it is great. I do love Matt's merch. We tend to cross-pollinate our merch between everybody's stream, so I do speak the truth. Everything tastes better in there. You pour soda, it tastes like soda from McDonald's. It tastes better than all the rest of the soda that comes out. So anyway, yeah, let's talk about this season of The Mandalorian as a whole. Has been pretty fantastic. Don't forget to drop your emojis. Let me reset the emoji rain. Don't forget, get your emojis in there so that, I can see it rain. But yeah, I mean, this episode of The Mandalorian was just packed full of fire. And honestly, I mean, I think last episode, if I'm not mistaken, might have been the perfect thing for the fandom. They needed to cool y'all out, right? I mean, they needed to cool y'all out because it was this week. If they would have done 2 weeks in a row like that, you guys might have just fell off the planet. So, yeah, it was pretty fiery, guys. It was pretty amazing. From Jump Street, the foundling camp, I think is becoming one of my favorite things. So we're going to start there. The foundling camp, the covert camp, however you want to swing this, whatever you want to say about it. We're going to pull it up. I'm going to pull it up right now, and we're going to break down the episode little by little over the course of the next hour, 5 minutes. So we last see in the last episode, the last thing we see is Bo-Katan, and she is 100%, shocked, I'm sure, by the indoctrination into what is going on here? There we go. Okay, so we're not going to put any sound because you don't really need it, but I am going to bring this up in the chat. So we're going to share this guy. Okay, so we get into this, and immediately we are back on. We're back on our planet with the covert. All right, so let's do a little layout here. Maybe like that. And then we'll drag this whole thing over here. Yeesh. That way I'm looking the right way. Guys, you know me, eye lines. Just eye lines. Okay, so here we are. And the first thing we see is a whole bunch of Mandalorians. I mean, there are far more Mandalorians in this covert than we had first anticipated, right? And this is just one of many across the galaxy, right? So we start here with this covert, and you see all of these Mandalorians just going ham. Some of them are shooting, some of them are fighting, right? I mean, there's blasters going off in the water. You see youngling on youngling crime. You see, just Mandalorians going nuts, right? And then, we see Bo making her way through this camp, and you've got to imagine that this is kind of how she grew up, right? I mean, she kind of grew up in the fighting ways with Death Watch. I mean, she's an elite commander of the Night Owls being a very elite group of Death Watch, and she's very versed in combat. So we see her walking through the camp, checking everything out. This is kind of how she grew up, right? What's up, Stanleys? How you doing? Like a glitching NPC. Right. So, Bo's walking through this camp, and she sees all of these, youngling on youngling crime right here. Right. These are two, middle of the road, teenage Mandalorians, right? And, we see the little guys learning all this fun stuff. And it's not like it's battle royale, right? I mean, this is a camp. This is training for them. This is the regular everyday training session for a covert, right? I mean, they're constantly training something, whether it's these guys in the background training joust style, whether it's these two in the front with vibro blades. Everybody is getting their training on in the covert. Nobody is standing around doing nothing except for the teachers, right? So it's really interesting because we've never really seen this before. And you see jetpacks of old, right? You got the two, the old school jetpacks, you've got the new school jetpacks. There's just so much going on in this camp. Blaster fire, all this fun stuff. So we're fast forwarding and we find Grogu in this episode, and he's chilling, playing with rocks, so to speak. But, a couple of moments later, we find out that those aren't really rocks. Those are crabs, and he was probably hungry, as little Grogu always is. But anyway, Din tells him to stop playing with rocks and it's time to train, right? So automatically, we're all kind of, suspicious. How's this little Grogu going to defend himself? Right? I mean, it's Grogu, right? How's he going to defend himself? But, Din puts him straight in, so we're going to get rid of that. There we go. That's better. You don't need to see my name. Okay. So we see Din pick up little dude. He's like, it's time for you to start training. And we see a group of younglings, and of course, my suspicions were 100% correct. Paz Vizsla's son is basically champion of the current wrestling circle. And we get basically Din Djarin comes in and he's like, yo, my kid's got next, right? My kid's got winner. No training involved. No nothing. Just sets him down and says, he's got next. We see Paz's son. Don't really know his name yet. Whoops a butt. And he is currently the champion of the circle. Now, this is where things get spicy for us, right? This is where things get a lot of fun for us, the Mandalorian viewer, because right now we're getting to experience that Grogu, not only cuteness, but his innocence, I guess, his I don't really know what to call. I can't really put my finger on it, but basically he looks back at Din like, yeah, what the F? We see Paz Vizsla's son, champion. Yeah, I'm gonna put some closed captions on for y'all so we can at least see the dialogue at the time. And we're gonna go to English. All right. I don't care about styling. Okay. So immediately Bo-Katan comes over and says, look, do you really think this is a good idea? He's a little dude, right? He's not going to be able to take care of himself. And Din's immediate reaction isn't sympathetic or empathetic. It's immediate. If he ever's going to ride from foundling to apprentice, he's got to learn, right? He's got to start training. So basically, Din is much like every mentor I've ever had in my life. It's time to sink or swim, baby. So he chucks him in the deep end against, obviously, the ringleader of the next generation of Mandalorians. So, the judge, Din Djarin calls over a judge, and immediately we see Paz's son basically throwing digs at the little dude, right? So they decide they're going to play darts. We don't understand what this means, but Paz Vizsla's son asks why he's not wearing a helmet. Now, this to the rest of the Mandalorians, this is a big deal, right? This is, why do we see his face? Well, young man, we saw your face just a day ago or a couple days ago. So not everyone swears the creed. Not everyone's a humanoid. So he asks why he doesn't wear a helmet. And Din says he's too young to speak the creed. And therefore too young to wear a helmet. which is what I've been saying the whole time. He's not there yet. If he can't say the creed, he can't acknowledge and understand what it is to keep his helmet on. So I find this entire conversation fascinating. The more we get of this show, the more Mandalorian lore we get, the more we understand why they are doing things the way they're doing them, so on and so forth. So Paz's son says, well, if he's too young to don a helmet and speak the creed, then he's outright too young to fight. Bottom line. And Din throws, I mean, we all thought it was going to be, maybe it's just me. I thought it was going to be a little more cordial. But then, Din Djarin says, one does not speak unless one knows, right? And this is a very interesting statement. And I like it a lot. I'm not going to lie. I like this quote a lot because it's very important to be humble. To be great at something is one thing. Natural ability, excessive excessive tutelage. If you're great at something, that's wonderful. But to be humble and be great is something completely different. And that's kind of how Din Djarin is. I mean, he's a certifiable badass. But he's trying to teach a lesson here. You don't know what you don't know, is what he's saying. You don't know what this little kid is capable of. I know what you're capable of. I've watched you. You don't know what he is. And I think this was an interesting statement to make to a young man who is basically the leader of the pack at his age. And so for me, this is a very interesting comment. And then we get into the battle, right? So Din kind of throws shade saying, hey, maybe this is a lesson for you. They bring over the training darts. Now, we don't know what's about to happen. I've never seen training darts in action. I don't know about you guys. But it's great that they pull out these little training darts. And this might be the cutest thing I've seen in forever. Is Bo-Katan putting on this little van brace on a little Grogu. I'm sorry. I about lost my shit here. This was hilarious to me. Watching her put that van brace on his little arm, those little training darts on his little arm, was hilarious. Yeah, I mean, for a moment, it's basically the same concept as Whistling Birds. I think more the dart and cable, so to speak, feels a little more on point for this. But yeah, it feels like Whistling Birds. It feels like that whole thing. But this was a fantastic scene, right? That's just adorable. If they don't make a toy that can do that, I will be surprised, because that is absolutely one of the most adorable things I've ever seen in Star Wars, is a Mandalorian Grogu. Just killing me with it. I'm sorry. But anyway, so we go through and they set the rules. Din tells him, what's what. Grogu's cooing a little bit, not sure if he's understanding. Boom, gets his butt kicked twice in a row. Right? They say go, pop, pop, 2 to the chest. Paz Vizsla's kids up 2-0. This is where Din has a heart to heart, right? So it's interesting. I'm enjoying this because this is a very interesting parallel to the Jedi training. And I think I'm digging this because you're showing me Grogu's training, and I'm digging it, right? Mama Bo, I mean, she's just a boss. I'm loving everything that's going on with her. But yeah, Grogu with darts available this Christmas, right? I mean, not even Christmas, available this summer at your local stores, right? So this next scene I'm loving, right? Because Din gives Grogu kind of like the dad talk, right? And Grogu, I mean, you grow up around Jedi for X amount of years, then you go to Luke's temple for a couple years. The whole idea of sitting next to Grandmaster Luke, you're lifting one frog, he's lifting all the frogs. It's a little intimidating, right? Your power doesn't seem as high compared to them, right? As a student, you're like, damn, look what he can do. I barely got this little guy. He's got all these guys, right? Very similar to what Yoda did to Luke with the X-wing and that whole thing. So to see this training and this conversation that we're about to see with Din and Grogu, he's basically telling him, you don't need to be humble in this moment. Use your abilities. They're bigger than you. I've seen what you can do. Do it. Don't be afraid of your own skill set. And this to me is very fantastic because anybody that's been great at somebody that's held back for whatever reason, you felt your opponent was weaker than you, or you had sympathy for your opponent for whatever reason. This is a moment where Din's like, just nah. He's so overconfident. Show them what you can really do. Show them who you are. And I love this. I love this moment. Him saying it's okay to show them what you can do is amazing. Because sometimes, I mean, Grogu's been taught don't use your abilities except basically for defense, right? The Mandalorians teach a little different perspective. So for me, this kind of came out of nowhere. We're changing things up a little bit, guys, just so anybody that's here knows. We're going to be doing Mando Mondays as usual. We're going to forego the Tuesday night pre-show because everybody's doing pre-shows. Everybody's doing watch parties early, this and that. We're going to forego Tuesdays and the pre-show. And now we're going to do This Is the Way Wednesdays. So we're going to do Monday and Wednesdays. We're going to do Mando Monday with the group on Mondays. And then on Wednesdays, we're going to, open it up as always. But we're going to go through and break down the episode and just chat about it. This is going to be real loose. This whole Wednesday, this Is the Way Wednesday. So yeah, so this was kind of impromptu. I was talking with the guys today about, no, I don't like stepping on anybody else's stream, so I've decided I'm going to be here till 5:45 when the Matt Cave gets started, and then everybody's going to go over to the Matt Cave and watch him. But so This Is the Way Wednesdays. We're going to do more. As don't forget to put your emojis in the chat. I think while I'm sharing, they don't come out, but as soon as we're done and I'm full screen, they'll go ahead and drop back down. So don't forget to get your emojis out there. We are definitely going to be seeing a whole bunch of them soon, I hope. So anyway, in this moment, we see Din Djarin, and he's telling Grogu it's okay to show them. Show them what you can do. And so Grogu decides he's going to do it, right? What happened? Grogu decides in this moment, okay, cool, I'm going to do it. Right? He's got that cute little van brace on. He's got cute little sabers. This dude's looking like his dad, all cocky. Right? And so they say begin. Shots fired. Grogu's gone. Boom. Ends up behind. Doesn't even plant. Just jumps again. Flips behind. Confuses him. And then the triple shot. This was fantastic to see. I enjoyed everything about this scene up here because this shows that Grogu is not as weak as we all may have thought. Right? We know that when he was in his pram on Mandalore, he uses the Force. We've seen him use the Force at other times, but it seems like this unlocking of knowledge that Luke did, this him remembering his past, he's starting to use his abilities, and he's starting to understand it's okay to use his abilities where he is. Right? He's a Mandalorian foundling. He's not a Jedi youngling. These are two very different perspectives. And I love that they're showing him trying to almost honor the Jedi code. And Din is saying it's okay to show your abilities. It's okay to use your abilities. It's very interesting. So yeah, I just got off work, Dale. I'm with you. I just got out, decided to jump in and jump right on. So we see this scene, and he is bested, and Grogu's the winner, right? Now, this is, and of course, Bo-Katan asks, did you teach him this? And Din knows. Well, he spent a couple years with Luke Skywalker, so he learned a thing or two about a thing or two, right? And then, everybody comes, one does not, and then even Paz Vizsla says, one does not speak unless one knows. He even sees the error of his son's ways. Now, Paz Vizsla's kid goes off to be alone for a moment and gets snatched up by a dragon. All the everybody tries to save him. We're going to skip forward. Everybody gets in on their horse, and everybody runs out of fuel for their jetpacks. And we hear that this is a common thing when Mandalorian children get snatched. They can't go get them because, well, their jetpacks don't last long enough to go get them. So this has become a thing. So then we see, as that's happening, we see Bo-Katan in her ship flying towards the dragon. This is a change, right? This is a beautiful shot, right? This totally reminds me of like a Top Gun ending scene or like a Top Gun starting scene. It just beautifully done, right? I mean, the cinematographers on this season of The Mandalorian are just fantastic. Like, I'm just befuddled by their work. It's just beautiful. So we get the Mandalorian intro. We have a conversation about going to get him. Bo shows everybody where he is, and they decide to put a hunting party together. Now, we're going to get to that in a minute, the hunting party. But then the armorer does something really cool here. The armorer basically tells Grogu, look, you're not old enough to go. End of story. This thing snatches up younglings at a moment's notice. So you're not going. You're going to stay with me. Now, this scene was pretty fantastic. We see them leaving, and the armorer looks at Grogu and just says, come on, Grogu, let's go. And they go into her cave, and she tells him something very interesting, right? Because at this point, everybody has come to grips. Everybody has come to grips with the fact that Grogu is a foundling, right? Everybody's come to grips with the fact that Grogu is one of them now. And his training right now just showed how far he's come and that he's not just some helpless youngling. So now the armorer witnesses this with the rest of the covert, and they're impressed. I mean, why wouldn't they be? He looks like a baby. He looks innocent.
He's just a baby.
Right? He's innocent. But then he basically shows up the leader of the pack. Amazing. So the armorer tells Grogu, come, gives him a little speech. If you wish to become Mandalorian, there's much work to attend to. Meaning that being a Mandalorian isn't just about battle. It's not just about going on the adventure. There's much work to be done. Just like Jedi have things they have to get done, as do the Mandalorian younglings. And I'm really digging the fact that they're so accepting of Grogu right now. I'm really digging this fact that everybody in the covert has not only welcomed Din Djarin back after bathing in the waters, but Bo-Katan is still part of the creed. And we'll get to that later as they are on their adventure. But right now, they're focused on Grogu, and I think this is amazing. This is an amazing scene. So we're going to continue on. So Grogu, walks along, gets in, hangs out, and now we see our armorer begin to make something. It's awesome when she really gets going and she starts to make things and she starts to have conversations about the Mandalorian creed, the past, the mythosaur, so much to get into, right? And we don't expect Grogu to walk in and get armor made, but that's exactly what's about to happen. Now, I was blown away that they're about to have an armor chat, right? This is really cool because she always dives into something, and it's really funny. I was, as she starts making this item for Grogu, I start to laugh a little bit because because every time she starts stamping out the metal, everybody has a flashback. It's like that sound is like a mental trigger to the past. It happened with Din Djarin, it's happening with Grogu. It's hilarious, right? So so we're moving forward. She's talking to Grogu about the forge and about the heart of the Mandalorian culture being forging their metal, forging Beskar, right? Now, we know Grogu, I think everybody kind of expected at this point to see Grogu get a helmet or her to start make him a helmet. Now, I'm still not there yet. I still think he's got a long way to go before she makes him a helmet, but it was really cool in this moment to see her making something for him. And then you fast forward to this scene. Let's see, it was a little further back. Right. Oh, there we go. Get it right there. Immediately, I saw the Mudhorn. Right? You're a clan of two. And yeah, she made him some chainmail, but nothing else. No identifying mark, right? To mark him as part of the clan for Din Djarin's clan. So I loved this. I loved this moment because she's pouring him a signet. This is beautiful, right? She's literally melting a signet for the guy. And as soon as I saw, there it is right there. As soon as I saw this block, I was like, oh, she's making him a signet. He's finally getting his identifying mark, but I'm like, what is she going to make? Like a tiny little pauldron? What like he's already got full chainmail already going. So I was really, as soon as I saw this, I was like, oh, she's making him a signet, but that's humongous. It's as big as he is, right? So she talks about Mandalorian steel, how they shape it themselves. You know, we've heard Bo talk and Boba talk about making their own armor. And then she just telling him how they refine, you know, and then here we see her looking through the database, right? Because every forge, every armor has a database of armor and different styles, because not every style is the same. You have male armor. Everybody's got a different style of armor that they like. Some like a full chest plate. That's more of what the women wear, is a full chest plate. The men wear smaller. It just depends on what you want, right? The pauldrons are different. The chest plates are different. Everybody's got a different style of armor. So this is the stuff that I'm really enjoying with this show, is you're giving us all of this Mandalorian background, all of this lore that's never been seen anywhere, right? They've never shown us this in Rebels. They've never shown us this in Clone Wars. They've never shown us this in any of the OT, ST, pre-T, none of the T's, right? This is unique, and I love this. All right, Daryl. Thanks for coming in, Dale. Appreciate it, man. I'm loving what they're showing us, right? So we go a little further on into her searching, and we find this disc, right? And at first I was like, man, that looks like a Van Brace shield, but that's a part of the Van Brace. That's not part of, you know, the armor that we've seen. So I kind of looked past it, but we see this, and the forge can reveal weakness. I mean, she's just laying it in, right? And decides what she's going to stamp out. And just like for Din, Grogu starts having the emotions keep rushing back. And like I said, I don't know if it's the frequency of the stamp of the forge of I don't know what it is, but every time somebody sits in that chair and has their armor start to be made, they start having flashbacks of way back, right? Din Djarin sees his parents, sees his when he became a foundling, when the Death Watch found him, and now we see Grogu. And every time somebody sits in front of this thing, we see another flashback of some kind, and I love it. So we get into Grogu's flashback. Now, this is probably, if you're just a Muggle fan, you didn't catch this, right? And I love this. This is such a callback. This is such an homage. I love that John and Dave brought this actor back to play this character because he fucking deserves it. He fucking deserves it. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it out loud. He fucking deserves it. So here we go in the trauma response. And automatically we see we see in here the foundry. Boom, boom, boom. And then automatically look at the faces. This is so cool, right? Because you can see the time that has gone by, my friends, right? This is not just a flashback. This is a flashback of 20 years, my friends. This is a 20-year flashback. You see the age in Grogu already just in this short time. So watch these faces. This is something I rewound a couple times because I had to really put my eyes on it. But you see Grogu's face, right? There's the stamp of the stamp. And then you see his face here. They're gonna zoom in on him, right? And boom. Okay. So check out that face, right? All right. You see that face. That's the Grogu we know, right? This is, sad face Grogu. This is sad face Grogu. This is the Grogu we know. Now, you fast forward just a couple of seconds and look at that. Look how much younger he looks. Look how much smaller his face is. The attention to detail with Grogu is amazing. It is amazing, the attention to detail that they are taking with this show. Everybody can crap on the storyline. They can hate on the Pershing story, all of this stuff. Feel free. But they're doing it right here, people. I know you don't like a 30-minute, 25-minute portion of the story being dedicated to a character that isn't Mandalorian, but they're doing it right, guys. They're doing it right. I'm sorry. It's just factual. So yeah. Oh, hey, somebody stopped by to say hello. What's up, dude? What's cracking?
I was lurking back there because you were just going in,
I
bro.
was.
Keep going, man. I do not want to interrupt.
No. I invited the homies to come in and chat it up just like we always do. But yeah, look, the attention to detail that these guys are doing right now is just fire for me.
He looks mad young right now.
He looks mad
like
young right
how they make him look so young,
bro. They've mad
but
young.
it also hints at how fast he's gonna look old.
Exactly. Well, and how fast he's growing. I mean, this is 20 years that we've seen. I mean, you're gonna see, and the stress.
Little gauge the wrinkles now.
And the thing that I am most excited about, this is they de-aged the child. That's a new one. I mean, he looks better than Anakin looked in Kenobi. I'm just saying. They de-aged proper here. But I just love that they're showing us, you could see the age difference just in his face, not even in his size, right? But then, we got this scene. We knew it was coming. I think everybody thought when the door opened here, it was going to be Anakin or somebody, right? Just the way that the door was breaking down, you expected somebody with a lightsaber.
That bus driving bitch.
That bus driving bitch, Mace Windu.
I heard that. I was like, man, that one is like the craziest one I've heard.
Yeah.
It would have been crazy if Mace Windu just comes through and saves
one arm
him.
Mace Windu, right? But, everybody expected right here for that to be a Jedi or Anakin or somebody.
But, what a setup.
What a setup, right? I mean, the way that they broke the door down. The way
they did that on purpose.
They so baited everybody, right? Grogu's seen his fellow his fellow
Mhm.
Jedi. Everybody's protecting little dude. Everybody's getting gunned down. And at this point, I think everybody is like, who's going to be on the other side of that door, right? I was literally like, R2, R2, R2. Like, I was like, let's go. Make me right again. Fuck everybody
Yeah.
else. I was just like, come on, make me right again. Pull the mythosaur card again. Give it to me. And they didn't. They did it. They did me one better. They did me one better. The only way this could have been better is if Jar Jar Binks himself rolled through the door. Right? The only way that's better is if Jar Jar legit rolls through the door, and it wasn't. It was the actor that played
Yeah, man.
Jar Jar is the man that
Unreal.
rescues. Is the Jedi that rescues Grogu, is the actor that played Ahmed Best, playing a Jedi, wielding two sabers, kicking ass and kicking names. I mean, this was such an homage, such a throwback to that guy. I was beside myself. I was literally
Yeah, so now the Jedi Academy show that's on Disney Plus is canon, and if you disagree, you're wrong. I'm sorry.
there you go. I mean, but yeah, I mean, look.
No, I just think it's awesome how like they named his character in that show, and everybody just assumed that it was like, okay, that's cool. That's that's an honorable little homage to him. Like, good Disney, pat yourselves on the back. Great, good job for that. But this dude, holy shit! Like
right. And he
I'm
was
blown
such
away.
a badass.
Yeah,
Right.
man.
Watch this scene.
Oh
I
my
mean,
god, the dual wielding.
dude, and I'm convinced, aside from Yoda and Kenobi
Uh.
or having another Jedi have your back from behind, dual wielding is the only way you get out of that kind of barrage, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the only people we really saw get out of that were dual wielding swordsmen,
Ahsoka.
right? Ahsoka, even Jarvis T'Pol tried, but he didn't, right? I mean, Cal Kestis now having the dual wielding sabers.
Oh, he
He's
did
in
have some backup. He did have some backup, which was
some
really
backup.
cool to see too, dude. Like that whole transition.
This
The
whole
ship,
thing,
the ship is
well,
100,000% made out of the same.
don't say it yet. We're gonna get there, dude. This shit. I was saying it while I was watching
Nurse
it.
it,
I was
bro.
like, holy shit. Yeah. Dude, literally, I was on the brink of tears. When I saw him, I was like, thank you, Jon Favreau. Thank you, Dave Filoni. Thank you for doing this man a fucking service. He deserves it. He got shit on. This man got shit on for decades. And I'm so happy that John and Dave brought this man back to play this character, to be the one that fucking saves Grogu. And just checkmate to all my friends out there that were telling me Grogu was taken by the Empire. Checkmate, bitches. That's all I got to say. You're all my friends and I love you, but checkmate, motherfuckers. So look, and then we're going to get, okay. So he saves him. He wields some dual saber, right? He beats some clone ass. I mean, look at that face. That's the face of redemption right there, baby. That's redemption. And then
hell yeah,
this next scene, right? Okay, so he goes on a speeder ride, whatever. None of that really. It was cool, but I wasn't really in tune with it. This is the shit that got me. All right, everybody, this is the shit that got me. That's fucking Nubian.
Yep.
Nubian, very expensive. So this scene,
and 2 seconds before that, he skirts across where the mountain is, where they were walking.
Right, which I thought was brilliant.
Hey, yes, well done.
Right, but this scene right here, I mean, these are Nubian soldiers. These are Queen's Guard, basically. Right? We've seen them with Padme. We saw them with the new queen. These are Nubian soldiers, right? These people are from Naboo, and that is a Nubian ship. And Padme's I mean, not dead, but Padme's chilling in her apartment while all of this is going on. So it's not her ship. This is this the Queen of Naboo ship? Right? I mean, was this a contingency that Padme Amidala set up?
Dang.
That's my question. is like, okay, so I had a crazy, and I'm gonna break it here. Sheev's here, so good. I'm glad he's here because we're gonna
Hey.
break this shit. I'm gonna give him a second to get his green screen set up. All right, I'm gonna drop some hot knowledge on y'all today because this shit had me shook today. What up, my guy? Turn your mic. There we are. What up, my guy? All right,
How are you guys?
bro. I am hyped. I was thinking about this
Me
shit.
freaking
Fired
too.
up, baby.
I was thinking about this shit all day. So here goes this. So hot take with with how do I put this without being gross? With the baby of the most powerful force user with the highest metachlorine count ever seen by the Jedi, with 2 growing babies on the brink of birth inside of Padme, did Padme Amidala have force visions about Order 66 because of the Jedi inside of her and set up an escape for all younglings? And Grogu's the only one that made it out with her plan.
I like that. I heard another one where it's Jar Jar, because he's from Naboo, and
I love that
if you
too.
really get down,
I love that.
and of course, it's
the two
it is Ahmed
entities come
Best,
together, bro.
and he would
Holy
have been a
shit.
senator at the time, so
I
like
love
it's
all of
possible
it.
he could have. Yeah, dude, I'm for it, and
love
I
all of
totally heard the Padme thing too. And the Padme thing, I think there's even a passage. I don't know if it was an article or something that said that Padme potentially saw what was going down at the Jedi Temple and maybe didn't even know what was fully going on, but sent help. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, we see her crying, right? So does, like, I kind of like the idea that this looks preset. This doesn't look like a last minute thing, right? This looks like something happened. Here's what we do if something happens. Like, is this the way that we see Padme intravenously having the force because her 2 babies are so powerful in the force?
I do like that
she has a force vision.
There's
and
precedence for that.
I just feel like, man, you got
that
2
is really
babies
cool.
with the highest metachlorine count father. How is she not going to have at least force visions, right? At least feelings that the kids are feeling, right? Like, because they're attached. Like, I thought about that today, and I was like, how brilliant would that be? Is that Padme sensed something was wrong and just said, hey, in case anything happens, here's a couple trusted Jedi, right? Couple people I know. Or were these friends of Jar Jar's? I love that one even more.
I think it makes a little bit more sense even than having Ahmed Best. Like it just,
I love it even more.
Yeah,
I love that one more than mine. I love that one more than mine.
I love both, man. Like it's
that one struck me today. I was like, did motherfucking Anakin's DNA all up inside? Could she have had a force vision about this shit? Like, was she? I just like that. This whole scene, I was literally sitting in front of my TV going, "That's fucking Nubian. What is it? What is a Nubian ship doing rescuing everybody? Like, what is going on here?" So
I did the same thing, man.
This shit had me shook, bro. Like that. This whole scene,
because so right away everybody was like, "Get Grogu to him," right?
That's what I think. Younglings, because even the captain says, "Where are the rest?" And he's like, "This is it." Like, I think it was just for the younglings. I don't think this was specific for Grogu. I think they were trying
potentially to Jedi in general, potentially,
but I don't really think it was just geared towards Grogu. I think it was get any kids out you can.
I think younglings makes the most sense because that's literally what the character was known to do in canon, was that he worked with a lot of the Jedi younglings. So
right, and there was a corps dedicated to younglings. So it seems like that group were the ones getting gunned down as they're trying to save Grogu from the barrage, right? They were obviously, this was the group that was working with Grogu at the time, right? So whether they had an escape plan or what, for me, it just felt like Padme, that screamed Padme right there to me. Like, as soon as I saw the ship and the Nubian soldiers, I was just like, how the fuck did Padme do that shit? Like, she's at the apartment with 3PO and Anakin's with R2 killing young. What? How? did she orchestrate this? But then I'm like, dude, did she have her own Force vision? Like, was she feeling Anakin's angst through all of this? That's why she was like, are you okay? Obi-Wan came to see us. Like, all of this stuff is going on. It seems like she's so more perceptive while she's pregnant with those two kids, right? I mean, to me, it just screamed, this whole scene screamed Padme, but fuck, if it's Jar Jar, bro, that's even better.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, what's cool is they're setting up allies that the Jedi had for their own contingencies that we didn't even know about.
So yeah,
I'm hyped to figure out where they're going.
The fact that there's other people that he's like, I'm bringing you to some of my
Bale,
friends. Like,
Bale's another one. I mean, I just feel like Bale was so involved with other shit that I don't know if he send after he watched George Lucas's kid get gunned down. Did he call Padme and say, "Hey, get your ship ready"? Fuck, I don't know what's happening. Like, no, right?
It's crazy because there's so much that happens in such a short time in Revenge of the Sith. But I will say real quick too.
Dead. We gotta get out of here.
In terms of Jar Jar, if it is Jar Jar, how much cooler would the redemption be for all of this? Like the fact that Jar Jar went to send people to help with what was going on at the Jedi Temple, like having Ahmed Best come back as a character to redeem his other character, like that's poetic. Man.
I hope we get to see more. I hope that's not the end. I hope with the path we get to see more and we get to see how Grogu ended up at that place eventually. Like, that's kind of what I'm hoping this is all stirring into, but I don't want to waste people's time with 35 minutes of somebody that's not a Mandalorian. So this is great. Like I was saying earlier, is the frequency of the stamper the thing that makes flashbacks happen, or is it just a perfect segue into the flashbacks? Because like Dinsen's in the seat, pow pow, flashback. Right, Grogu, the same thing. You sit in the seat, you hear it, pow pow. He's got a flashback. So for me, I'm like, is it the machine? Like, what the shit's going on here?
Well, she said the Forge shows you things. So I'm wondering, like, I'm not sure if you're looking at her hammering the thing or if it's
I think
flames.
It's a metaphoric thing, to be honest.
Well, you know how sometimes you're sitting in front of a fire and you go into that like kind of trance type state because the fire is just so like you get immersed in it. But I think they're going for that. I love it. I love the whole spiritual vibe of that.
So we get to this point here and we see her making this for Grogu. Now, I really enjoyed this because this feels like a pauldron. This feels like a piece of armor that's got the whole control.
Well, so can we talk about it? Because she calls it a rondel.
She does call it something. I didn't hear that.
That thing is so the rondel is usually between, so the pauldron is what's on top of your shoulder.
Right.
The breastplate doesn't go across the arms. A rondel sits right here, like in your armpit, kind of. Between those as extra protection. And that thing is massive. So I don't know if she knows like how big he's gonna grow, but she stuck it right in the middle of his chest and she called it a rondel. But yeah, you can Google that. It's one of the first things that pops up.
Okay.
But it's like Renaissance style armor,
right?
To match his chainmail.
So
it's a little big though.
A little big. She makes this awesome little thing, and then of course for me the biggest part was the mud horn. Right?
Yes.
She had said it before.
Because now he has his own piece.
You're a clan of two. He's got his own chainmail undergarment. So,
but he never had the crest.
And for me, this is what I love the most. And when I watched her making it, I was like, where are you going to put this on his head? Like, seriously, this thing is humongous. But I really dig it. It's almost like a shield, right? It's almost like a little Grogu shield. And I'm curious if he's going to be able to like take it off and like repurpose it. Yeah, right. I'm very curious. Is he going to be able to throw it like Captain America? I don't know. But I like everything. I like everything that's going on here. Is that why it's electronic? So he can push something,
blasting that thing around with the force, bro?
I don't know. I'm so excited to see what he does with it, right?
No, Beskar's for protection, man. He's not allowed to do that per the creed.
I don't know. Look, they made it. I mean, I don't know, bro. I don't know, but I'm very excited to see like what is this? What is this
One
for?
thing
Yeah,
about that, when they said that about Beskar and the point, like, what are whistling birds? I'm pretty
that's
sure
what I'm
those are
saying.
made out of
Well,
Beskar.
Right.
they're pretty defensive. I mean, they are kind of.
All right.
If I was using them, I would definitely be like, "Oh, I'm screwed. Here we go." Not just like every time you want to use them.
I feel like
But
it's
Go.
still kind of in defense. Like
that's what I
it's
mean.
not
I
like-
agree.
it's usually
You only use
using
that
it when
at,
you're
like,
cornered. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw that when he got picked up by the Dark Trooper.
just
He was
trolling.
like, "Expel all," and they didn't do shit. But he. So yeah, you see this thing. She puts it on Grogu. It's literally covering his whole body. It's adorable.
It's gonna grow into it.
If that's not a Christmas or summer toy, they're missing out, bro. I would gladly pick up one of those. I'm sorry. I say it and I mean it. I mean it and I say it. So that's the whole scene with Grogu in the armor. I felt this was a really touching thing. For me, this was a really touching moment between these two characters, right? She is known to be very callous and cold, and in this moment, it was interesting to see how she treats the younglings, the foundlings. That she's not as hard on them as she is on, and she just saw him do something amazing. So the amount of respect that she has for this foundling is huge right now. And I'm
took it upon herself, dude, to just go,
Right.
hey, everyone's kind of busy. Come follow me. I thought
Right.
that was amazing, dude.
Right. Like, come Grogu. Like, she calls him by his
Yes.
name. Like, come Grogu. Let's talk. And she's giving him the history. She's not just doing something. She's like, if you're going to be one of us, you need to
He
learn
really is a
everything
foundling.
about us. Right. And I love that she absolutely took him under her wing and said, this is what Beskar is really about. Right. And that was,
and
so
then he
touching.
gets the flashback and everything. I think my favorite part of the scene is actually the first thing she says to him, because it gets me excited for kind of the foreshadowing of where this character is going. Like she literally tells Grogu, it's not like you're not old enough to fight with them or go off with them yet.
Yeah.
But that your time will come. She basically says like that time will come. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it gets me excited, and it really felt like this episode being the foundling and kind of subtly being about Grogu for a good portion of it, although of course the double entendre themes with Star Wars. But I felt like it kind of solidified to me that this show, The Mandalorian, is kind of about Grogu becoming a Mandalorian. Like the very first episode is about him getting it kind of adopted or found. Yeah, and ever since it's been about Grogu's journey becoming a Mandalorian, kind of, and also Din Djarin's
and Din guiding him to there, right? I mean, that's a large part of this is Din is almost like a guide for him, right? Yes, he is, and I love that he called him his ward. I love how old school the Mandalorians talk, right? That's so old, like old school knight level shit, right? You had your ward, you had your squire. Like, I love all of this. They're changing a couple names from foundling to apprentice, but really this is so old school knighthood, and I love that shit. So we see this.
It was even hilarious is they even said that you adopt from foundling to apprentice. Like, I don't know if you guys caught that. There was a subtle kind of hierarchy.
He did mention that, yeah.
Well, Din told him.
He said something like, he's not my apprentice. He's
he said basically he told Bo, he's like, look, if he's going to go from foundling to apprentice, this is the way, right? And he's absolutely right. He's literally training him. He knows I'm in charge of his training. I'm responsible for him now. He's basically acts as my son.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do love, we go through this whole thing and finally we get to see this scene. This scene for me, we finally get to see them walking the mountains together. We finally get to see them in this scene that we missed, right? Where is it? It's this scene from the trailer. So we're really one scene away from being done with the initial trailers. We have to see that green Mandalorian civilization and the Mandalorian starfighter flying in. But aside from that, we've seen almost every scene from the trailers, and this one was a big one. We thought this was going to be more of a gathering of the clans. It turns out it's a hunting party. And I love the respect that they're giving Bo-Katan. I don't know if I think Bo's all in at this point. I mean, especially this scene right here is another one that had me in the feels, man.
Yeah.
Because Paz Vizsla is like the dude. right?
Mhm.
He's like the leader of the pack in this, and it felt very ironic that Grogu beat Paz's kid, right? Like that felt very,
Ooh.
to me, very subtle,
Mhm.
right? Because you see the changing of the guard in the adults, but Grogu is like a foreshadowing of what's to come, right? So I really dug that also. But then this scene where she literally looks at Din and goes,
How do I eat? How do we eat? We can't take the helmet. I don't understand.
and then
Yeah.
he's like, you don't. You go find a place by yourself, like you're going to take a crap and you
Yeah,
eat your food,
exactly.
right? That's exactly what it was like. But this scene I loved. Paz Vizsla's like, look, you're the party leader, you're the hunter, you're the lead hunter, you get the fire, right? The amount of respect that is being transferred over to these two, to Din and to Bo from the collective. I don't know if Bo's ever felt this before. I don't know if Bo's ever felt this level of respect, legit respect. The crown, the throne, all of that aside, I think this is the first time she's felt a warrior's respect.
Well, also to further that, it's the first time she's earning it.
True.
She's actually, not for nothing, she's actually going through like the trials and tribulations that actual Mandalorians go through instead of the silver spoon, everything being handed to her because she's royalty.
Right.
Yeah.
She's
But
earning the respect. It's kind
but
of
at the
cool.
same time, it's just a rad thing to see this scene in two houses that
Mhm.
I kind of hate each other, right? House Vizsla and House Craze are not bestie friendsy,
They
but it's
used to be.
not really. I mean, yes and
she
no.
she
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 was a member of
literally
Death Watch, so yeah, I mean, they worked
she was
together.
homies with him and was on his
But at
side
the same
until he
side,
started working with Maul,
she
and then
was
when
the
Maul killed
exception.
him.
But she was the
Sure.
exception because her sister was not,
Well,
right? So
something
there,
I kind of noticed is she talks about how her dad was a warrior and did all this stuff. Do you think it's possible that she wasn't the one that kind of split off and became a warrior, but her sister was the one that kind of split off from the family and
yeah,
became a pacifist?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
But her house was considered betrayers, also, right? Her whole house. I mean, you can hear when Paz
The
Vizsla in the last
armor.
episode. No, the Paz Vizsla is talking about, how Din Djarin's
Mhm.
an apostate, and he looks at her and
Mhm.
she's like, "You're an apostate too. Your family is not on the path. Your clan is not on the path. You're an apostate also."
I
Right?
thought that
Like
was more because she lost the saber and like because of what happened under her rule, but
I think all of it. I think it
Well, they
entails
blame
true.
her for
they
the
blame her.
curse.
Yeah.
They
And
blame her for the Mandalorians being cursed
so, we get this scene and she's
because
kind
of
of
the
like,
way I think that's actually because of the way she acquired the dark saber.
right.
The armor says that as much.
So, you can see here as she's sitting alone, you can see that it's weighing on her, right? Like this is a trip. Like I am tripped the fuck out right now. I've never
Yeah, dude.
experienced this
She's
before. So she's still tripping balls. She is not okay with anything yet. I think she's just kind of, trying to figure out if she's buying in, right? Um, but yeah, I mean, so we get to that, we get to the hunting party. Um,
man, I'm telling you, Bo is
Something else with
primed
Bo,
for
I
the
really
attack,
like the
man.
fact, again, with the whole double entendre thing. Like, in a way, she's kind of the foundling of this episode, kind of being indoctrinated into the cult, I guess, as well. And
Hmm.
she's going through a lot of the things for the first time. And something I also noticed, every scene of the show so far, or every final scene of the episode so far, episodes 1, 2, and 3, all end on Bo-Katan.
mhm.
That's a little like, what's going on with that? You know what I mean? Like, what's that leading to? You know?
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
telling you, she is going to become an antagonist.
I
She's
mean,
one of the only people that knows how to lead, and she wants to save her people. I don't think that she's very hyped that they're all living on this desert planet, hiding in caves.
well, I mean, those days are numbered. We know that because we're going to see them on Navarro. But we get an eye on young Paz
That's a
Vizsla's
great
son,
freeze frame.
and
Yo,
And
love that his name is Ragnar too. Can we
Ragnar?
hold up on that, by the way? Like, that's dope. Ragnar Vizsla. Like, he
Yeah.
better live, bro. He better live.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's an interesting scene here, but I feel like the ultimate end goal of this scene is not only this whole encounter that was amazing as far as aerials, but then we get this, this quick moment where we solidify my correctness again. Thank you, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, that this is Paz Vizsla's son. So we learned that, obviously the color screams are right, and we kind of called that. So pat on my back, yes, gold stars for me. And then at the end here, we get, the celebration of everybody coming back. Obviously, little Grogu's like, wait for me. Don't.
I
Don't
love it when he ran in this episode. Like all
Yeah.
the scenes with him running are just
They're
hilarious.
just hilarious,
Oh,
right?
I know.
So we get little Grogu eager to go see Pops, right? We get the return and everybody's happy. And then we get, another conversation with the armor and with Bo. And basically, she tells her that this is, the highest honor you can do is saving a foundling, saving one of their young. And then they show that they brought the dragons back. I felt this was very Game of Thrones, right? So maybe this is the kind of shit they're talking about when they say this show is
Dude.
very Game of Thrones.
This was awesome. This was
I thought
awesome.
it was hilarious. She was all like, "We brought more foundlings back." I'm like, "More foundlings,
Dude, they are 1,000% gonna be riding these full-grown dragons, bro. Like the Mando, like the way they're setting this culture up is like a formidable faction, man. A mythosaur, this Boba Fett has a rancor, like
beast mode, bro. Beast mode.
Serious. This is getting serious.
The Mandalorians are taking over.
Yeah. So we see this, the armor. We saw Bo lose a pauldron.
Oh, they will.
And so we see her talking to, the armor says, well, you just did a wonderful thing. Let's get you repaired up. And we go back to the we go back to the armor's lair, and she starts preparing a pauldron. And the question is asked by the armor, do you want your night owl signet again? Right? Are we sticking with the night owls? Are you still rocking that symbol? And she asks, because she doesn't know their rules, right? She can only go off of what she learned when the Mandalorians were ruling Mandalore. And she asks, can I inlay the night owl on one, and can I put the mythosaur on the other? And we learned that, the mythosaur belongs to all Mandalorians, so it's perfectly fine for her to wear that signet. And then she does something I think none of us were really expecting to be the first person that she talks to about the mythosaur.
Yeah.
Is the armor.
Yeah.
Right? So she said she basically tells the armor, and the armor is, well, that's a great vision. Like, it's a huge honor to have the mythosaur as a vision. And she's like, no, bitch.
I saw it.
I seen it.
Right? And she's like, whoa. You saw it? And she's like, yeah, beneath the waters. And, this is where she tells her, when you choose to walk away, you get these visions. But then she tells her again, and she doesn't deny her. By the way, I love that the pauldrons are not identical.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty awesome that no paint, no, like, they're not even identical, because she even says it, like, the technology of the old, we don't have all of it.
I wonder if it's even symbolic of, like, half of her is thinking that she's like maybe into the cult, and the other half is still kind of following her old ways. Like, I think that even could be like a little symbolic thing there. And it's a lot
who
like
she looks exactly like.
Who she look like?
You're gonna steal my idea, bro. Go ahead. That's why I was trying to interrupt you.
He's a good thief. Go ahead.
She is Din Djarin, season 1, episode 1, y'all.
Yes, exactly. With the pauldron on the right side. Yep.
She is now building her new Mandalorian armor, and she will have a new helmet before this is all through.
You think?
Bro, because my theory is they're gonna find more Beskar down there.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna find it. Everybody's getting new armor.
Mm.
Everybody's getting a dragon. Not
You-
everybody, not everybody,
Dragon.
but not everybody. But they have those I'm saying, like, why bring those dragons in? Call them foundlings if we're not gonna see them
And then
10
this
years
is
from
the-
now, full grown. Like, come on.
and that's the final scene. I feel like this is another very foreshadowing scene. Her looking at the mythosaur man on the mantle, and you know, that's all she's got on her mind right now. Right? Yes, she's going through the motions. Yes, she's saving the youngling. Yes, she's doing this, but the mythosaur is on her mind. She's
You
just
know who I think has the answer? Paz Vizsla.
really.
His family's got something somewhere. History. It's on Mandalore. It's in a chamber. But his family has the knowledge on how to tame the mythosaur. They're the only ones that have ever done it.
Boba.
I thought
Tar
Mandalore
Vizsla,
the
right?
Great. No, Mandalore the Great was the first one to.
Oh,
tame
he
the
wasn't a
mythosaur.
Vizsla? I thought he was
no,
a Vizsla.
so I don't think he was a Vizsla, but the
Mm.
Tar Vizsla, I believe, may have also done it. May have also
Okay.
conquered or tamed a mythosaur.
I
So
feel like there's a house somewhere.
I don't know if
that
he
has
actually
the
did or not.
knowledge.
I think he might have just been the Darksaber, but I know for the fact the Mandalore the Great, even Bo-Katan says it in that second episode when they're in the mines. Like Mandalore the Great was the first one to ride the mythosaur.
I think she's trying to figure out how to ride it right now.
Right.
Like, she's like, I got to get this figured out.
Well, I think that's on the brain, man. I think this episode, it's so funny week to week. It's so funny the tone of creators week to week, right? So week to week, it's like,
Oh my God, Star Wars sucks so bad.
and then the next week, it's like,
Oh man, did you see that episode of Mandalorian?
I can feel it.
right? I mean, the week to week flex is just amazing to me, right? Because one week it's like Mandalorian is the worst show on television, and then the next week it's like, oh my God, did you see the Mandalorian? It cracks me up.
Yeah.
I can't be happy about it all the time.
It's a roller coaster, bro. I'm telling you. Like,
They just try to find stuff to be unhappy about.
Telling you. It's okay. It's
you
okay.
know, if I can,
Everybody's happy this week. I didn't see
that.
anybody
I think
saying
we're all happy for Ahmed best, man. That's like
I mean, my guy, that the only thing better is going to be seeing Jar Jar on Naboo when they arrive. That's going to be the only thing that makes me happy. And if here's a huge
Jar Jar and Yoda.
Here's a crazy what if. What if Jar Jar sold himself to the circus to get Grogu safe? Right? Because he becomes basically a circus act, right? So, like,
does.
you know,
Yo, and actually, he is on.
little guy,
the-
Misa be a yours forever, right? Like, you know, I'm just saying. Either that or Jar Jar's
I
rich.
was wondering how we could make this spin this to make it a Jar Jar redemption story.
That's what I'm saying. That's I was going on your train of Jar Jar redemption story. Like, you know,
Well, isn't
maybe he gives up all of his money. Maybe he made a bunch of money as a senator.
Well, I mean, if he did send Ahmed Best, I keep forgetting the character's name, Kellen Barr or whatever,
Yeah.
or Kellen Beck. If Jar Jar did send him, maybe the Empire found out, because obviously they rose at that point, and they're like, "Nah, fam, you can't be a senator anymore," because of him doing that, and that's why he ends up becoming a circus clown or whatever on Naboo.
All of the above. Yes to everything. Because I just think the redemption arc of Jar Jar for me, honestly, I want to see Jar Jar outlive all of these characters, and then Darth Jar Jar appear after the Emperor's gone. Like that's my deep wish, is that he was just waiting for the Emperor to die so that he could rise. So like that's always kind of been my secret Jar Jar
Misa
storyline.
trained Plagueis.
Misa wait a long time for this. We still wait 1,000 years for this, right? Like,
So
really,
before I forget where my train of thought was going about Naboo specifically, is that not where Bail runs into Ahsoka and gives her the transponder?
yes, it is.
Okay, so Padme hasn't died yet,
No,
but if
Padme was at the apartment with 3PO during all of this.
I mean, in theory, Grogu could be on Naboo during the funeral, right?
Yes. Yes. In theory, yes.
I'm
100%.
thinking that. I'm thinking that would be kind of
And we know
crazy.
that
Bail Organa could be involved
and
already pre the Skywalker babies. He
Oh
could
yeah,
already
yeah.
have been a
Bail or
contingency for
Yoda or
children.
Obi-Wan, they all went back to the temple at one point. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like,
But I'm saying Bail could have been the Jedi's contingency for the really, really young kids, like
well, I
the
mean,
children, the
maybe
babies, like the younglings.
I feel like Bale getting shot at during Order 66, if anything's gonna happen, he's gonna make phone calls. Like, right
Mm.
then, like, "Hey, here's what's going on. We need a ship ready," and then talks to like, he's got Jedi buddies, right? Like, he was very, very trusted with the Jedi, so it would make sense that after getting shot at, he starts putting plays in motion, but this feels like it's immediate. This feels like this plan is already in place. This feels like I said, to me, for Padme to have this vision would feel right, right? Tell the queen, "Hey, something's coming. I need a ship on this platform ready to go forever right now." And then boom, it happens and checkmate, right? So it just feels very that whole scene felt very Padme. The stealth of Padme showing up on Coruscant as a fighter pilot, not as sending a decoy, right? The fact that she followed Anakin to Mustafar, right? Knew what was really going on. I mean, there's so many
Like
instances.
Grogu's been floating around this temple for 20 years, right? How old is Anakin? He's been there the
The same
whole
age.
time,
They're
basically.
the same
Like,
age.
they're
so
both like
what I
22.
want them to do is tell us like how many people and like like we don't even know if Grogu was put on a pedestal above other younglings or if he
We
was
don't.
just like a species that was just like here. But we don't see other alien like we
Right.
don't really see any other alien Padawans really, right? Like correct me
No,
if
we
I'm
do. We see,
wrong.
Gunji. We have
Yeah, okay, so
that
there's a
whole group.
few, but
But at this point,
I'm
a
just
bunch of them
curious how
got.
many people know about the Yoda species, the rarity of them, and that
I
Grogu
mean,
was in the temple.
I think Grogu was trained in secret away from the other younglings. Otherwise,
Mm.
we would have seen him. So I do think that he was kind of
Yeah, so
Rapunzel
like
in the tower with a group of masters.
he was up
They
here as
were
a
I
chosen
mean, there
one,
were
kind of.
thousands of Jedi, so it's possible he could have just been somewhere else in the temple, and we just happen to never see him. Especially because, like, he's a baby. He's not going to be
well, that's what I'm
around
saying.
during the Clone Wars at
I
any
feel
point.
like
You know
his
what I mean? Like,
species is in its infancy. He has a group of
Mhm.
people, yes, that are teaching him, but at the same time that are more caring for him than teaching him. Right? Those Jedi seemed more to be more of his caretakers than they were obviously not the best swordsmen because a lot of them got
they
got
were
by
definitely protecting him for
right.
sure.
So it seems to me
Bro, and if you were like, Yaddle, you just had a baby, that's kind of a big deal. Like, you guys are 900 years old, and we've never seen any of you ever before. Like, we
right.
need to protect him.
Well, I do think that he was trained
How was
intelligently.
he discovered, man? Like,
No,
ugh,
I hope they do go more into his background. I hope that
we need it.
we do maybe get a
I
Tales
think
of
we
the
need
Jedi
it.
Grogu, maybe a Grogu edition would be a good one to
Can
really
I
show.
ask you, do we need it?
I don't think
We
we need
don't
it.
need a Yoda origin, but our new Yoda, like,
I
he's
don't
the
think
same age as
I
Anakin,
don't
and
think
he's
we
been
need it.
around during prequels. Like, I think we need it,
I
man.
don't think we need it because we didn't need an answer for Yoda or Yaddle, right? And I
Sure,
don't
but that
I
was the
think
cool thing about them is
I
like the
think it's also
mysticism and the knowledge.
but I think
This is
that's
a
the
he knows nothing.
but I think it's the same way. I think you treat that race the same. I think you treat that species the same and you make them it's the mystery that surrounds that species. I think that's always going to be there
So
much
you
like
don't ever want to know
So
how
I
he
agree.
became a conscious being.
Look, if you show me Yoda and Yaddle having a baby, great, bro. Is this are they is this
But
child?
you wouldn't care if you never knew.
No, because I feel
I-
like this
I
child
need to know eventually, bro.
is almost a virgin in the Force,
So
right?
I
Like,
don't think they
yeah.
need to dive full in and tell us his parentage or anything, because I
No.
do agree with you, Obsession. Like there is some cool like mystery behind it, but I think the fact that they've already dug in a little bit to his past, I do hope we kind of find out what happened to him leading up to how he got with Din. You know what I mean? Like at
Yeah,
least some aspect.
I don't really need the Grogu birth story. Like to me, that doesn't
No.
No,
doesn't
but
really give
like,
me anything. But to talk about the lore behind, is this a vergence in the Force? Is this something that happens spontaneously when the Force needs it to happen? Because Yoda and Yaddle were up there in age, because Order 66 was upon them. The wills. Is this something the wills? We don't know, but I feel like the
that's
mythicism
what I'm
behind
saying, though. Like, I
it
feel like
To
he is
that
going to be such a
extent.
key part of Star Wars going forward that
Yeah.
it's like, we need to know, have you never seen anything outside of the Jedi Temple? Like,
I don't think he had.
were you born there,
Probably not.
created there? Like, I need to know these things. There are some things they do have to answer, I
I
feel
think
like.
him being Yaddle's kid would make a lot of sense because she does die.
I think
right
that would
after
be
the Phantom
amazing.
Menace.
And
Yeah.
to it being a vergence would be better. To it being the same way Anakin was
Yes.
conceived would be better.
No father.
No
Especially
father.
because they were born the
Yes.
same year.
Yes.
You don't have to
exactly.
use
Well,
chat. You don't have to use the D word. You don't have to use it.
No.
I'm just saying he's special.
Right. I mean, look, he doesn't look. I'm not saying that maybe it is Yaddle. Maybe he is a vergence, or maybe Yoda, much like the Lasat. A lot of people don't know. Maybe Yoda and Yaddle are holding a secret where there are more of their species, outside of the
that'd
core
be cool.
systems. A hidden place, much like whatever Scarif, Papu. There's all these different places in the galaxy that are really undiscovered. Maybe Yoda and Yaddle know about that and feel one of their kind has the Force, right? Maybe not all of their species have the Force, right? There's infinite ways that this can go down, but for the most part, I don't really need it, right? You said it. I knew he'd say it. You said it.
I can't help my
But I feel like there's ways that this can be done, but it's not a necessity for me right now. Right now, I'm digging the pearls that they're giving us, and this one, to
Yeah.
me, this episode was executed so well because they baited everybody with the they did, dude. The
bro, and
trailer,
they gave us Jar Jar
the
Binks,
trailers
bro.
Right.
the trailers rope-a-doped everybody because everybody was like, "That's a lightsaber."
That's a lightsaber coming through
I
the door. I know it. That's a red one. I can see it.
Right? Everybody said that, and then
guilty.
they didn't do it, and it was so much better, right? Because
I
I
made
love
y'all let me share it. I was showing you the floor.
I love
Question if that shit was
I love
CGI
that-
added in later.
I love that the lightsaber from the last Jedi that's saving him on the level before the elevator drops their saber. I love that he picks it up and goes dual yield,
Oh,
knowing that there's nothing but troopers out there, right? Like that got me. I was like, dude, that's the only way you get out. You got to dual yield, right? But this episode was fantastic. I feel like I'm so excited for Ahmed Best to get his redemption in Star Wars. You were the fucking hero, man. You're the
Yeah, where
one
you
nobody
going,
saw
man?
coming. Everybody thought it was Anakin. I thought it was R2. Everybody's pointing at Obi-Wan and Yoda. Everybody's pointing in different directions. Nobody saw this dude coming, and they rope-a-doped your ass into it. And I love it, and I'm really happy for. I hope he is elated by the love he is getting from this, the love that he deserved 25 years ago, 30 years ago. I hope that he is getting
Don't
the
tell me it was
admiration
that
that
long
he
ago,
deserves.
bro. It
It
wasn't
was that
that
long
long.
ago, 25 years, bud. It's that long ago. So I love that he is finally getting the respect as an actor
24.
in Star Wars that he deserves. It makes me very happy. I hope that he is enjoying this as much as I am for him, because that made me so happy to see him getting that role, to see him doing that, knowing that we had seen that character in other things. I really enjoyed it, and I'm really happy for him, and he absolutely deserves it. So, yeah. Anything else?
I'm also concerned for him. You know that
Me
Grogu
too.
potentially gets
Genuinely.
intercepted. So,
We
like, why
know
is he
it's
with the
probably not going to go
bandits?
well.
You know,
Yeah, I mean, he could get got, but ultimately, I don't care. He's still the first savior of Grogu, and they answered a huge,
got him out
huge
of the
question
temple.
tonight. How did he get out of the temple? Everybody got. Nobody knew. Nobody saw it. No theories came out saying this was going to be the guy that saved Grogu. So, congratulations, Disney. You got us again. You did it again. But once again, you've shown us this show is written and directed and overseen by an amazing story team. And every time the doubters want to doubt this team, you doubt them all you want. Every time you doubt them, they come back harder, faster, stronger, better than the last episode, and they put you on the floor and show you how good they are at storytelling. So,
Dude, I'm not even gonna lie. One of the coolest things about The Mandalorian, in my opinion, is it's found a way to kind of redeem some of the least favorite qualities that people had with different trilogies. Whether it's the sequel trilogy, we got the redemption of Luke Skywalker at the end of season 2, Jar Jar Binks with the prequel trilogy, and then the whole thing is kind of leading to a redemption of the sequels also, with just like how they're trying to bridge everything together. Like it's just a
With better
beautiful
storytelling.
beautiful poetry to Star Wars, man. And like the whole show, it's John and Dave are brilliant.
well, and nobody had this on their bingo card. If you made your own bingo card, nobody had this character rescuing Grogu. So guess what? Everybody loses.
I saw one dude on Twitter
One
who
dude?
one dude on
Wow.
Twitter back in 2020 who said it would be so cool if literally this character and Ahmed Best were the ones to save him, and they should give
That's
him
crazy.
the time in the big screen
Well, they
of
did.
Mando, kind of, you know.
That
And they
guy,
did.
I need you to find that guy because I need him here. I need him to have a conversation about this and where he came to it, because that is amazing
Mhm.
foreshadow. You need to go play the lottery, my guy. With
Yeah.
that kind of foreshadowing, you need to play the same numbers for a year because it's coming your way with that kind of
I'm not
premonition.
even gonna lie. The fact that it was 3 years ago, like I wouldn't be surprised if John and Dave were trying to figure out who saves Grogu, and they're like looking through all the fan theories or something, and like everybody joked like at one point, you know, a lot of people, oh, what if Jar Jar saves him, you know, or something like that. Like I remember John Campea even did that, and now like for it to be Ahmed Best, like they probably saw that tweet or something a long time ago, and we're like, oh, dude, let's do that. You know what I mean?
I love the silence. That's all I'm going to say. I love the silence because this is just, I feel like that was just the same reaction. In fact, I think I had a more visceral reaction to this than I did the Luke reveal. I think this was like, this felt good to see. And I hope that he gets all of the love the way young Luke was supposed to be. Yeah,
You don't have to share my trolls.
you can throw that trash away. I'm sorry. You can get that shit out of here. But yeah, I mean, look, it's a great way to put in the middle episode. This was a great way to usher in the middle episode. Now we know that Din, Bo are in with the covert. We know that Din is basically going to become the leader of this pack, having rescued Paz Vizsla's son, having Bo-Katan having done that. These two, where these two want to go, the rest of the covert is going. And it seems like that's what's coming. They just need a school bus big enough to fit everybody. So I'm looking forward to seeing the Navarro fight scene with the pirates. I'm looking forward to seeing the meeting of the clans now that this group has really shown that they're behind Bo and Din and that both of them have a spot in this. It would be awesome to start seeing the unification under the Darksaber. It would be great to finally see Din Djarin yield the Darksaber and show the other Mandalorians that he is their leader by right, and that I hope that we start to see that more. Now that we've seen a Grogu training arc, now that we've seen these two getting accepted into the covert, this feels like where we're going. Yeah, you too, my guy. That's all out of love. But yeah, that's where I feel we're gonna go next week. I mean, this episode took a couple minutes to process. So I'm really excited by what they're giving us. Like Dave and John
Yeah.
continue to doubt the story team. I dare you guys. I dare the haters and the clickers to keep doubting these two. Right?
No,
You may
clickers are from The Last of Us.
same. Clickers, hater baiters. Keep doubting. Go ahead, keep doubting and keep hating that they're throwing in sequel trilogy hints and they're getting us there. Keep hating. I love it. I love it.
You know, the reason that I can't do it is because of the never-ending story, bro. Like, they're gonna write one thing that's just gonna serve that humble pie to you.
That's
I've
it.
had it served to me. Like, that's
I
why I
mean,
keep my mouth shut now, and I just like what I like.
I look, I feel like this is the best time to be a Star Wars fan, right? If you're a
Oh,
Marvel fan, if you're a DC fan, do you, right? You guys
Dude,
got a lot of
DC's
your own.
coming.
You got I agreed. I think
Come over
DC
to
is
my channel, man.
I
DC.
think
You guys want to talk DC?
I think DC it has a sleeping
Mhm.
giant waiting in the wings, but ultimately this is
this
the
is news
best
to
time.
me.
Oh, dude, Shazam,
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, bro.
post
James
credit
Gunn,
scene,
save me.
and then you've got
I heard
the
it goes nowhere, but okay.
but
I haven't
well,
seen it yet
it's
either.
not going to
So
go anywhere because the Flash is going to completely retcon the DC universe. So the Flash movie is
A lot
what
weighing
well,
on the
yeah.
Flash.
like
A lot
the,
I
weighing on
feel
that movie.
Marvel has a bigger sleeping giant waiting, in my opinion, with
oh
Secret
god, Marvel
Wars.
is
But
so boring right now, dude. Marvel is so on the ropes,
oh, I
dude.
love it.
They
That's all
are,
right.
dude.
Marvel and Star Wars will be back
They
on
are
top
so
soon.
on the ropes, dude. Marvel is such trash right now, dude. Everything they're putting out is such trash. That's I mean, it's true, dude. Like
You know, I do appreciate some of the struggles not always being over here at Star Wars
that's
land.
what I'm saying,
Like,
dude. I can't lie.
That
it's
is
it's being
true.
shared around a little more, so it
There's
stings
a
a little less.
there's
All
a
the other
word
fandoms are losing their minds.
I wish I could remember the exact verbiage and the exact pronunciation, but I'm awful with phonetics. But there is a word in German, literally means taking joy in the suffering of others. And it translates to no other language in the world other than German. I wish I knew what it was, but I know I can hear it in my head. I'll ruin it if I say it. But that's how I feel about Marvel sometimes. I'm enjoying this Marvel descent right now. I'm enjoying all of this because Star Wars is finally getting shit on like normal, but they're on top of shit mountain right now. So
Yeah, a little bit.
You
I
know, it's
feel like,
funny for me. I'm the positive Star Wars and Marvel fan, and I've
dude,
never really
I love them
the
both. I'm just saying this
yeah.
right
So
now
now
is
I feel
great.
like I have to extra double defend things. Like I'm like over here already like seeing all the dumbness of like the Star Wars fans tripping, and I'm like, no, you guys don't understand. And now I see the Marvel fans tripping, and I'm like, no, you don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, look, look, Star Wars has their own problems. They can't get a movie together to save their life. Okay, I'll say it. Star Wars has their own problem with directors right now and with storytellers in general. So, yes, for movies, they have a huge problem. You know what really is going to end up happening is Dave and John are going to end up having to make a movie. That's how it's going to get them started.
Mm.
Fine, I'm cool with that. Please do that shit. Uh
Yeah.
forget all these other dumbass movies. Keep working on this show, get this show to the point where you make a big movie, then let us have it. Kick all these other directors and shit to the curb for now. Concentrate on this because this is where you're doing the best work. So keep doing the best work here right now. But for Marvel and DC, I can't lie, I'm loving it a little bit. I'm loving it. Like DC's always gotten shit on because they've always been like the stepchild in the back, living out of the trunk. But for the Marvel's always been on top. Right? I mean, really, especially with the sequels having the divide that they did. There it is. Thank you. That's the word. Thank you. That means taking pleasure in the suffering of others.
Schadenfreude.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
But
attempt that.
but the biggest look, I'm gonna say it the biggest thing that Marvel did wrong was give Star Wars Jon Favreau. Like, thank you for gifting us Jon Favreau because he was the guy that started your whole universe, restarted your whole universe, and started making it good. Thank you for giving us Jon Favreau to continue to make Star Wars great because Marvel needs somebody new because their stories are turning into basuda and they're unfortunately She-Hulk and that whole phase aside from Loki really took a dive. And I liked Black Widow and I liked a couple of these other shows, but for me, it's Star Wars time, baby. It's Star Wars time. That's all I'm saying.
That's true. But
It's Star Wars.
Yo,
year.
and listen, you know what we're gonna get real soon too that people are sleeping on because the celebration is a bunch of trailers and
Yeah.
Visions season 2, man.
Vision season
Visions is
2,
fun.
Vision
It's
season
gonna be a sleeper again. Like,
The
I
Acolyte.
hope that Visions becomes the Love, Death, and Robots of
Yes,
Star
dude.
Wars. Like,
Yeah.
if you guys haven't seen that on Netflix, all the Love, Death, and Robots is the same type of thing. Short animations from just unheard
That's
of studios, man. I love it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think that this Vision season 2, we've got Acolyte, we've got Ahsoka, we've got the rest of this season of Mando. Bad Batch is finishing. This is a good year for
You
Star
know,
Wars.
the tales of something is coming down the
Tales-
pipeline
I
too.
hope
Like,
so.
we don't know what it is yet.
We don't know what it is yet.
So
Yeah.
I was even talking. So I was talking about the Lindelof news yesterday on my preview, and something that someone in the comments was basically saying is, why don't they do another animated Star Wars movie? And I feel like we got to start like getting the hype up and like talking about that, because they should, man.
Mhm.
Like, I know the last time they did it was with the Clone Wars movie, and it definitely wasn't good. but look how good the animation has gotten with the Clone Wars animated style. Like, you give them an actual movie budget to make an animated Star Wars movie, I'll go see it 5 times.
Either-
You know what I
Take
mean?
my money.
Yeah. Or, I mean, is it time to shelf some of these movies and start putting some of those assets into making another great animated show? I mean,
Yeah, and you look at what
because-
they already did with like the Siege of Mandalore, like that. They even made that kind of
Yeah.
like its own Star Wars movie. So that you put stuff like that in the big screen. You know what I mean? Like, we want to see that.
Well, I mean, and look, I mean, yes, with Bad Batch, coming to a close this season, it feels like it, whether it's a Palpatine story, it doesn't have to be PG. You can do animation much like, I mean, as I don't want to go as brash and silly, but Rick and Morty, right? I mean, South Park. I mean, all of these other animated shows that are dark and twisted and show, all this other stuff. You're making Acolyte that is going to be a rated NA-17 minimum. If there's intimacy coordinators, there's blood, there's violence, it could get that first Star Wars rated R rating that everybody's been waiting for. But who says you can't do an animation that's about somebody like Palpatine and Plagueis, right?
Mhm.
Why can't you give us the Plagueis Palpatine story in animation and make it dark and make it
Yeah,
gory and make it
you could.
fun and twisted? And yeah, your kids are going to watch it, but guess what? They're already watching people get cut in half on Jedi Survivor. So
I think
get real with
that anything Old Republic should just be 100% CGI, like they do the cinematics for the game.
That's what I'm saying. You've got the technology. You see these games
Yeah.
making great cinematics.
Has
How about-
anybody? It just happened today, but you need to look up on YouTube the Unreal Engine.
Oh, I saw that.
MetaHuman. Just
Yeah, I saw
look
that.
up Unreal Engine 5 MetaHuman. They
It's
did a
ridiculous.
tech test. You can literally motion capture yourself now and make yourself into. It's phenomenal. It's
amazing, dude.
It's.
The next,
I'm actually scared about deepfake.
oh,
Oh
deepfake's
no,
gonna be
yeah,
great,
it's
dude. I
definitely
love it.
creepy.
Unreal
love
Engine is crazy.
But I
Yeah.
mean, look, this is a great time to be a Star Wars fan. This is a great time to be a gaming fan. This is
Mhm.
a great time to be in the space. And like always, we're gonna stay positive. We're transitioning. We're doing different things. We're trying different things because I don't want to be stale, right? And I felt like Mondays and then Tuesdays was stale. We're talking about the same shit on Tuesdays. We're talking about on Mondays. So let's just cut the bullshit. Let's cut it out. Let's do Mondays. Let's do the recap for the week. Let everybody get through the weekend. Let everything fizzle out. Get your thoughts about you. Let's talk about it Monday. Let's let you guys do Tuesday pre-shows, Tuesday watch parties. Let the fandom eat that up. And then we'll come back here before or after the Matt Cave. We went a little longer than I wanted to today. I have his stream up in the secondary, but Matt's going to be doing way back Wednesdays. I'm going to be doing This Is the Way Wednesdays before or after his streams. So we're going to be splitting up the space I want everybody to be fresh. I don't want it to be stale. So that's why we're getting rid of Tuesday pre-shows. And I'm going to go hang out with Sheev on his pre-shows or somebody else on their pre-shows and talk about it. But we're changing things up. And I feel like having Wednesdays is a better feel because then everybody can process the episode and then we can talk about our immediate reactions. And then Monday, everybody can come in with different ideas like, you know what, shit, I didn't think about that till the weekend. I watched it again and here we are. So we're changing things up. I know I said I was going to do something yesterday, but I decided talking to the guys that we're going to switch it up a little bit. So keep your eyes out on Tuesday. I know Hawks is starting to do Tarkov Tuesdays. So keep your eyes out. Get over there. He's going to be doing a lot more gaming in theory on his channel as well. I'm already over at the Matt Cave talking smack in the chat. He's on a Resident Evil like a 3-hour bender, so I don't feel like bad for going over a bit because he's going to have like 2.5 hours all to himself. But yeah, I mean, get over to the Matt Cave if you're here hanging out.
Right over there, guys.
Let's raid his stream. Let's put everybody that's in here. Let's put him over there. Let's get his numbers up. But I enjoyed this. I enjoyed doing the first little bit solo and then having the guys come in. So we're going to roll with that stream. We're going to roll with that formula. We're going to bring people in about half hour. I'm going to go through some of my thoughts and then we'll bring in some friends. So this is the new flow. And this is how we're going to go with it. So yeah, I mean, get over to Hawk's channel on Tuesdays. Get over there, hang out with him when he's gaming because you never know when he's going to put up a stream and just start killing people. And then, you know, get over to get over to Vader's Lair and check him out because I know that he's up and all the time. I mean, it's completely random and I love everything. But I know Tuesdays he's doing, or I'm sorry, yeah, Tuesday nights he does a pre-show and then he does watch parties for both shows. So get over there and check that stuff out. Like I said, go rate the Matt Cave right now when we close this down. Get over there, show that dude some love. And yeah, I think anybody else have anything? Any plugs, promos, anything you want to get out one last time before we cut it out?
If you're not already subscribed to me, I'm giving away this Grogu statue. We already hit my mark. So I'm using the community tab for announcements on that. So if you missed out, I'm sorry. We're there already. It's going to be on a weekend soon.
Not much to plug on my end. Just make sure to show extra love to these guys and give their channels love. Share it out. You know what I mean?
Chillin's on Saturday. I know that Chillmonger does a Saturday morning with his crew all the time. So get over there. Get over to Chill in the Basement. He's getting closer to his 1,000 or 100 subscriber. We're gonna get him to 1,000 no matter what. Again, my guy, send me an address so I can get you hooked up. But yeah, anybody else, if you need anything, get in the Discord. We are gonna start releasing the I don't want to call it a checklist. We're gonna be releasing the form to fill out for the giveaway. Again, the giveaway is going to be an unlisted stream, so get over to the Discord because everything is going through the Discord as far as communication for that. The link will be there for the sheet to go ahead and fill out to get your entry. And we are going to do the giveaway. I'm thinking like April 1st, first week of April. I think we're going to do it because I want that in your hands when Jedi Fallen Order comes out. So I want you to be able to jam on that. And then we're going to be giving away other stuff too. We're going to be giving away some helmets. So I'm going to send you some helmets. You're going to get to pick which one you want within reason. Can't pick the white Boba Fett. I don't even have that shit. But any helmet that is Black Series that you want, we are going to give away a couple of helmets. We're going to give away the PlayStation. We're going to give away some gaming shit. We're going to give a whole bunch of stuff away. So get your entries. It's not just about being the big winner. There's all kinds of stuff.
Nobody leave yet. Hold up. I got the link.
Away merch. We're going to be giving away all kinds of stuff. So yeah, be around. Check out the Discord. The Discord is going to have all the tools you need for the giveaway. The stream is only going to be listed in the Discord because it's not going to be listed on YouTube. So it's only going to be for our members. It's only going to be for people that come to our channel. So make sure you get in there. The link is going to be in the description. And make sure you just get over there. So yeah.
I'm dropping Matt's link right now whenever you're ready, bro.
Yep, drop it. Matt's
go
link.
check out Matt's channel. Last plug real quick before just to say real quick, since you brought up April 1st, make sure to join his giveaway and everything because you definitely want to join in on that. But on April 1st, I'm also going to be starting my Rebels rewatch.
Yes.
For Ahsoka. So
yes,
we're going to be watching I think every Saturday and Sunday the best I can because we don't have an exact date, but make sure to check that out. That's going to be in a couple of weeks.
All right, guys, there's 4 links down there in the chat. Get over there to the
raid him right now, baby.
Raid him right now. Get in there and type the word raid because we're going to let him know what we're doing. But everybody have a great night. As always, don't forget to help by getting your pet spayed and neutered, help control the pet population. Don't forget, tell all your loved ones how you feel. Get it all out today because you never know when the Force is going to call you back. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. May the Force